Hello, it's D, and I'm back with another video. And today we got a host of stories to talk about. We're going to talk about some PlayStation news. We're going to talk about some Xbox news. We're also going to take a look at a possible new entry into the console market. And I just want to start off with Indiana Jones. Now, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, it is out now on early access on Game Pass, and of course, if you have the premium edition. Now, it's been getting pretty good reviews. Now, I was looking at this game initially when it first came out, and I was pretty impressed overall with what I seen. Now, what I didn't like was that it was not in the third person perspective. It's a first person. That was really my only knock on the game. I did feel that they did get the full feeling of an Indiana Jones adventure with their depiction of Indiana Jones in this game, and this is appearing to be the case because everyone reviewing this game has glowing reviews for it. Now, currently it's sitting at an 87 on Metacritic, and I think on OpenCritic, I'll just click to it right now, it is sitting, let me refresh the page here, it is sitting at an 86. Now, it has a 91% overall. I guess this is from maybe the gamers. So overall, it's doing pretty good. Now, I said in my last video when I was talking about Indiana Jones that it needed to be a hit, and it appears that it is a hit. Now, I was hoping to get my early access code for the game on Steam. I haven't yet received it. I am expecting to receive it over the weekend, and of course, when I get it, I will compare the PC version, the Steam version, the Windows Store version, and of course, the Xbox version. Now, some reviewers have had some technical issues with the game, and it's mostly with the shadows. Apart from that, the game is running really well. It's running at a 4K resolution, or an upscaled 4K resolution on the Series X, and it's running at 60 FPS. It's even running at 60 FPS on the Series S. Now, the Series S image quality overall isn't obviously as good as the Xbox Series X, but for the Series S, it's pretty much doing a good job. I'm seeing cards on PC struggling with less than 16 GB of RAM. So this is pretty good for the Xbox Series S to be running this game at 60 FPS. And the Xbox Series X, the image resolution and the clarity of everything that we're seeing on the screen looks fantastic. They're even using ray traced global illuminations. This overall is a very good showing for the game on the Xbox Series X. Now on PC, of course, you're going to be running this at much higher settings. From what I've seen on PC so far, it looks significantly better, but not to take anything away from the Xbox Series X version, it also looks fantastic. Now on PC, unfortunately, we're not going to get the ray tracing or the full ray tracing effects until the game launches next week. They're going to do a day one patch, and they're going to patch it into the game. Right now, I believe on PC, you also have ray tracing global illumination. So when I get my hands on this game, I'm going to give you guys my unbiased opinion on the game, and I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I'm really excited to get my hands on it. Now, I want to know what you guys think about this. Now, once again, I want to say, and I don't want to be a Debbie Downer here, but this game should have remained exclusive on the Xbox platform. This game is getting rave reviews. So if this game was not coming to the PlayStation platform, I do believe that they would be selling more Xbox consoles. Now with the good review and this game not coming out for 6 months on the PlayStation platform, I do believe they are going to move some consoles and they are going to get some uptick in their Game Pass subscribers. But overall, I think they could have gained a lot more by having this game exclusive on their platform. So I'm not going to go too deep in it. I don't want to rain on the parade because this is a great showing for Xbox. It's a great showing for the game. And regardless of my feelings on the Xbox console and some of the things that Microsoft is doing over there, I always say a good game is a good game no matter the platform. And it appears that Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is a good game. Now let's just move on to a little bit of some PlayStation news. Now, former CEO of Sony Interactive Entertainment, Sean Layden, was asked to share his thoughts on Xbox deciding to aim to put their games on more platforms. Now, according to him, he said that Xbox could never reach as many people as PlayStation. He said that even when the Xbox 360 was outselling the PlayStation 3, the former was limited to few regions. And he goes on to say basically that it would not be worth it for Sony to put their games on other platforms. Now, I'm going to quote exactly what he said. He said, "I don't know if the juice is worth the squeeze, how many additional sales they would get." And I kind of have to agree with him here. I don't think it would be in Sony's best interest to bring their games to Xbox. Now, most gamers have a PlayStation this generation. I'm not going to go into all the sales. We know that PlayStation is leading Xbox in sales. So it would make little financial sense for them to put their games on Xbox. It'd be more of an incentive to get gamers to come over to PlayStation and enjoy their games there. Now, they are bringing their games over to PC. And their PC strategy, I don't really agree with Sony's PC strategy. They're kind of releasing their games like a year and a half, sometimes 2 years after they release on the console. Now, the PC have always stated that it is a separate market. Yes, there is a little bit of overlap, but not too much. Nothing that would affect the sales of the console. Console players and PC gamers are two separate gamers. Now, I understand that they don't want to bring their games day and date because they feel that maybe some people wouldn't get a PlayStation. And let's just agree with that for the sake of the argument. It still would make sense to bring your games to PC at least 6 months after they release on the console. I do believe they still would get a lot of sales. I think more people will be interested in that game 6 months than they would be in a year to a year and a half. Most people, they have a small attention span for games. And when games have been out for a long time, the hype kind of dies down. You have a lot of spoilers online. You have a lot of videos out there displaying the entire game from start to finish. And gamers just lose their interest in the game. So I hope in the future that Sony decides to bring their games a lot sooner to PC than later. Now, the next game that we have coming to PC is obviously in January, and that is Spider-Man 2, and I am looking forward to that game on PC. Now, I just want to move over to the news that I really want to talk about today, and that is Valve branding new SteamOS expansion for third-party hardware. Now, what does this mean? Does this mean that SteamOS is coming to the Xbox platform? We've been hearing about rumors of this happening for quite some time. I don't think it's coming to the PlayStation, so I can pretty much rule that out. But we're also hearing reports that a new Steam console is on the way. So first, let's just go to videocards.com like usual. I'll leave a link in the description down below so you guys can check it out for yourself. Now, they go on to say it looks like we might be hearing about a new SteamOS a lot more in the coming year. Valve has published a new usage guidelines for its brandings and logos that may suggest the company will be working with third-party companies interested in offering compatibility with SteamOS or Valve hardware. Perhaps the biggest focus should be on the Powered by SteamOS branding, which suggests that the hardware features a pre-installed operating system. Now, the Powered by SteamOS logo indicates a hard device will run the SteamOS and boot into the SteamOS upon powering the device. Partners, manufacturers will ship the hardware with a Steam image in the form provided by and or developed in close collaboration with Valve. Physical alteration should not be made to the logo, and it should not be combined with any other branding elements. So this is just very interesting. Now, you could possibly see this being added to the Xbox console. Now, I've heard this rumor a long time ago that they were going to allow SteamOS on the console. Now, if they did have a SteamOS mode, that would allow you access to all of your Steam games. In theory, it would allow you to play some PlayStation games on an Xbox console. Now, that was kind of the first thing that popped to my mind when I saw this being reported, because like I said, we've heard from a long time ago that SteamOS was coming to the console. But then another report came up, and this is coming from InsiderGaming.com, and of course, I'll leave a link in the description down below. Now, this article goes on to say that Valve appears to be developing a new standalone Steam console for players, according to recent rumors and findings from various Valve data miners. The Washington-based company is working on a new traditional system known as Fremont, along with a Steam Controller 2 and Deck Hard VR headset. In a series of posts on social media, Valve insider Brad Lynch posted that he considers, or what he considers to be signs of a new SteamOS hardware. First, he discussed why it would, or it could be a dock for a current device like the Steam Deck. Lynch said that the evidence suggests a full-size HDMI port being hardwired to the card directly as opposed to being connected via USB-C. All references to Fremont ensure checks to full-size HDMI Type A port you'd see on a TV-focused console and other desktop computers that don't have a dedicated GPU and its own HDMI ports. In other data areas, it shows AMD Lilac board being used for development, while the final board is completed with firmware specifically developed for the new device being worked on as well. It also shown the Quanta computer manufacturer of the Steam Deck is providing feedback on the new system. Now, Valve hasn't commented on any of the rumors, and everything here should be taken with a grain of salt, the article goes on to say. Now, I will say this kind of makes more sense to me than the Steam OS going into the Xbox, because the Steam OS going to Xbox, Microsoft obviously is going to have to pay some type of licensing fees. And I don't think they're in the position right now with the Xbox console to be paying more additional fees. I think they want to kind of recoup all the money that they've invested in these different studios and basically keep the brand alive. Now, of course, they have some good games this season. Flight Sim 2024 is fantastic. I'm hearing great things about Indiana Jones. Like I said, I'm going to test that game out later this weekend. Stalker 2 was fantastic. So Game Pass is really firing on all cylinders right now. We even have Call of Duty for the first time in Game Pass day and date. So the service is doing good. So it just wouldn't make sense for the SteamOS to go into the current generation console of Xbox. Now we're hearing that the next generation Xbox is going to be very powerful, and perhaps SteamOS could be in that console. I don't want to rule that out. I also don't know how well a Steam console would actually do, because they have tried this before. We had those Steam boxes. Now, mind you, they were kind of outrageously priced and the specs were all over the place. So that was the reason why it kind of failed. There was no type of uniformity to it. Now, if they were making the console themselves, and they were in charge of the specifications, and that could be a different situation. But what would they price it at? Because it would have to have some pretty capable hardware in there for PC guys to take it serious. Also, for console guys to find it attractive, it would have to have better hardware than what's out on the current generation of consoles. So that's where the pricing kind of comes into play. Now, a lot of people are complaining about the PlayStation 5 Pro's price point at $700. Now, a Steam console, I can't see that being any less than $1,000. Now, a few benefits of a Steam console is that, of course, you're going to have access to all of your Steam games, but you're also going to have access to your Game Pass games. We're seeing that Microsoft is now allowing Steam games that are in Game Pass to share saves, with the first game being actually Indiana Jones. So that's a pretty big deal. So that's a possibility. You could also play your PlayStation games on a Steam OS console, because of course, many of Sony's games are on Steam, like Spider-Man, like Ratchet and Clank, like Helldivers. And we know that future games obviously are going to appear on Steam, like The Last of Us Part 2 and Spider-Man 2 this January. So that would be a pretty wild console. Now, where would that leave Microsoft next generation? Because if they come out really with a next console, like say next year for $1,000, that is spec'd out, let's just say, I don't know, a 4070 Super. I'm just throwing those numbers out there. I don't know what the specifications would be. There's nothing indicating what the specs will be. I'm just speculating here. Nonetheless, say it's like a 4070 Super. That would be really attractive to a lot of console players if it's priced at $1,000, especially seeing that it would most likely have a better CPU. That's what's in the current generation consoles. The fact that you could play your Game Pass titles on there. The fact that you could play your Sony games that are out on PC there. That would be attractive. So this is very interesting. Like, we're just going to have to take it with a grain of salt. But I will be honest with you guys, I am kind of excited about this. And it just leaves me wondering, what will Microsoft and Sony do next generation if this is actually true? Because it's going to be hard to compete with a Steam box that runs Steam OS, that gives you all of your Steam titles. Once again, that allows you to play your Xbox titles, that allows you to play your PlayStation titles that are on PC, that allows you to play PC games that just aren't available on any other platform. It would be a pretty incredible feat if they could pull this off at the proper price point, at the proper specs, and if this is actually a real thing. So we're going to follow up on this in, I don't know, future news stories that come out about it, but it is very interesting. And I got to say, the next few months is going to be extremely busy for tech. We have CES coming up. AMD has announced that they are going to be doing a keynote. We know for a while that the rumored 5090 is also going to be launching at the CES event. Now, I think AMD's information is what's really going to resonate with me the most, because I think we're going to get a lot of details on the PlayStation 5 Pro. Now, I can't say for certain, but I have a lot of speculation that the PlayStation 5 Pro's GPU is actually full RDNA 4. We know that RDNA 5 is going to be a complete departure, or I should say UDNA. So it's not out of the realm to think that this console would have the latest and greatest from AMD. We're seeing that the ray tracing performance is better. We're seeing that it has machine learning AI. It appears to be on 4 nanometer. I see a lot of outlets kind of hint at this or kind of discovered this. From me looking at it, it kind of does look like it's 4 nanometer. Of course, I didn't measure it, but I see some guys kind of hinting at that and they never talk about it. And these are like big outlets. And the only thing that makes sense to me is that if this is full RDNA 4, they probably wouldn't be able to talk about it because AMD has to reveal all of the details of that architecture. Sony can't go out there and just say it because AMD is competing with NVIDIA and they don't want to give them any type of head start or any type of strategy against their next generation hardware because these guys are real rivals. Like they really compete against each other. And I'm hearing fantastic things about RDNA 4, but I'm also hearing that it's just an improvement over RDNA 3, where it's having better ray tracing, where it's having, of course, machine learning AI, where they're just cleaning up some of the mess or some of the issues that they had with RDNA 3, making it more efficient, making it more powerful. So I think it's going to compete with everything but the top end with NVIDIA's offering. And I think the next generation after that, I think that's where they're going to have a true Halo product that truly competes with NVIDIA. And I don't think that's a bad thing because everybody can't own a 5090 or a 4090. It's very expensive. And to be quite honest, with a 4080 Super, you can get very good 4K performance. Now, of course, you're not going to have all the bells and whistles and be able to turn everything to the max. You might have a few compromises, but you're still going to have a fantastic gaming experience. If you don't want to do 4K, you want to do 1440p, a 4080 is more than enough to give you great frame rates, great performance, great graphics. So I think it's a very, very interesting time. I'm very excited for the next few months for the tech that's going to come out. And of course, we're going to cover it on the channel. Now, I've kind of rambled on here. You guys can tell I get excited every time new tech is introduced. And I'm really excited to hear more about this SteamOS or this Steam console box. Anyways, I want to know what you guys think about today's stories. What do you think about Indiana Jones and its well-received review scores? Are you planning to play that game or are you going to wait to get it on the PlayStation 5 or perhaps the PlayStation 5 Pro that will offer better performance? I want to know what your guys' thoughts are on this new Valve rumored console. Do you think that if they price it at $1,000 with pretty good hardware, that gamers would find it attractive? Let me know this and all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. And like I usually say, please like, share, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys on the next one.